Fusion Mobile, quality e-learning experience on the go.
Hello again and welcome to Fusion Mobile e-learning class. My name is Abubakar Abdul, and of course here we are talking civic education. In this video we are going to be looking at civil society. In the previous video we looked at public service. Now we are looking at civil society. We'll be looking at the meaning, functions and needs of civil society, qualities and characteristics of civil society, and then finally problems of civil society. So basically, when you hear civil society, what do you think, or what comes to mind? And civil society are basically an arena outside the household, that is the family or the government. Basically, civil society in summary can be defined as the entire people in a country minus those in government. They are those intermediary institutions, the non-governmental organization, that is NGOs, private voluntary organization, PVOs, people's organization, community-based organization, club, trade union, gender organization, charity group, sport supporters club, cooperative organization, environmental groups, the academia, the media organizations. The list is endless. So civil society is defined as the entire people in a country minus those in government. They are relatively a new concept that is comprehensive in scope but difficult to define. Civil society is the arena outside the family, that is the household, and also the state, that is the government, and the market, business sector, where people associate to be seen as the aggregate of non-governmental organizations and institutions that manifest interest and will of citizens of an organization in a society, which are independent of the government. Basically, that is what civil society is. They are not your family, they are not the government, they are basically intermediaries like non-governmental organizations. All these are civil societies. Now let us look at the functions and needs of civil society in our civil societies in our country. Now we'll first look at the functions, and after the functions we're going to look at the needs of civil society in our country. So first off, let's start with the functions. Some of the functions of civil society include advocating for good governance, number 2, society watchdog, number 3, promotion of political participation, number 4, promotion of poverty alleviation programs and welfare services, number 5, provision of information on certain issues, number 6, building and development of democratic and patriotic values, number 7, peace building and conflict prevention and resolution, number 8, leadership training ground, number 9, election monitoring, and then finally number 10, initiators of social change. All these are functions of civil society. Remember, I did tell you that they are intermediaries. They are like non-governmental organizations or private volunteer organizations. These are just organizations that are there and they help out the citizens. They are not just they're not part of the family and they are not the government, but they actually do assist you. They are intermediaries. So these people, part of their functions is to effect social change. Part of their function is to encourage good governance. Part of their function is leadership training ground. Part of their function is peace building and conflict maintenance and resolution. These are all part of their functions. Now let us look at the need for them in our country, the need for civil society in our country. Why is it important for us to have civil society or civil societies in our country? Now some of the needs include: number 1, it is important for community, state, national and international integration in economics, sports and scientific cooperation. Number 2, it helps to promote permanent dialogue between the government and the rest of the masses on vital issues bordering on welfare and the future. Number 3, it also helps to promote strong link between government and other segments of civil society such as gender groups, youth, children, the diaspora, and the private sector. Number 4, civil society gives support to democratic principles, practice institutions, popular participation, empowerment of indigent group, good governance, human rights, freedom, and social justice. Then finally, number 5, it helps in the education of the people to the understanding of their political, economic, cultural, and social environment and how they work, as it requires different approaches to relate with civilian, military government, culture, and religious group. All these are needs all these are needs all these are reasons why we need civil societies in our country. All these are reasons why we need civil society in our country. Now, before I continue, a question is going to pop up on your screen right now. Please do answer it correctly. Welcome back from that question, and I'm certain you answered it correctly. Now, before the question came up, we were talking about the need for civil societies in our country, and we mentioned about 5 different needs. Now we are going to go to our next item, which is the qualities and characteristics of civil society. We're looking at qualities and characteristics of civil society. Of course, qualities and characteristics of civil society. Now, qualities, this is what makes them important. Characteristics, you know how they are, what are their features. So now let us go into them. Number 1 is civil societies are non-profit oriented. That's, they are created not to make profit, they are created more to offer help, more to offer assistance. Number 2, that's autonomy. This remains an important feature of civil society, as they are to a very large extent autonomous and independent of the government. Number 3 is voluntary. Most civil society, all civil society groups are voluntary groups. Most people who are involved in them, they involve in them voluntarily. It's not like you are being employed or something like that. It's more of voluntary work. Number 4, free public sphere and space. Number 5 is non-partisan. Number 6, persuasive and non-confrontational in nature. It is persuasive but non-confrontational. What we mean by non-confrontational is it's scarce to see members of civil society going out on demonstrations and all. So they do not confront, but they are persuasive. They try as much as possible to put in the pressure, maybe on government, to effect social change or anything of the sort, but they are not confrontational. Number 7, they are democratic. Number 8, they are law-abiding, very law-abiding. Number 9, they are tolerant. And then number 10, laymanship and professionalism. This is unique quality of civil society, as there is a blend of professionals using paid staff and non-professionals, usually volunteers. So sometimes the civil society itself is not profit oriented, but then again sometimes to effect certain change, to actually get certain things done, they employ professionals and they pay them, and then again they get other people who will naturally just volunteer to do part of the work. So these are some of the qualities and characteristics of civil society in Nigeria. And now finally, what are the problems of civil society in Nigeria? What are the problems civil society face in Nigeria? They include, number 1, definition of what constitutes civil society. Social critics question the moral authority it has to represent the voiceless, since they are not elected by the people. Now, if you look at certain NGOs who just spring up from nowhere, even though they are helping people out, they are not really elected by the people, they are not created by the people. So some critics actually challenge that fact that, okay, what is the right that they have to say they represent the voiceless, when the voiceless are not the one who actually chose them, who actually asked them to do this? They are just doing it willingly, voluntarily. So how can they say that they are the mouthpiece of the voiceless, when the voiceless perhaps are not even aware of their existence? Number 2, no clear-cut functions. That some civil society group lack a clear-cut function in their aim and objective. Some of them are just there, okay, we want to help humanity. They just tell you they want to help humanity. They want to help the people of Abia State, or the people of Umahia to be precise. But how? In what aspect? Lots and lots of civil society don't have clear objective, clear aims and objective. They have no clear cut of what their objective is. Number 3, undemocratic nature of civil society. They are undemocratic in nature because they do not have legitimate mandate from any constituency. It just springs up from nowhere. It's not like, okay, you know what, this is coming from Umahia, this is coming from Aba, this is coming from Okigwe, this is coming from this place or that place. They just spring up from nowhere sometimes. So they are somewhat undemocratic in nature. It wasn't chosen from a particular place, no, it just springs up from nowhere. Number 4, unhealthy competition. Civil society organizations somehow involve themselves in unhealthy competition in order to gain access to resources and for promoting their hidden agenda. Number 5, politics. Of course, most civil society groups who are often supported financially are most times dragged into the politics of supporting and keeping a blind eye to the government that fund them. Number 6, destabilization of legitimate government. Number 7, targets of attack and harassment. Number 5, funding is another problem with civil society. And then number 8, funding. Number 9, government manipulation. A lot of time government actually manipulate civil society into doing their bit, and even members of the civil society begin to think they're acting independently, but they really aren't, because the government are the ones who are manipulating them. It's easy to manipulate some civil society. That's basically what we can cover in this video, and I hope you have been paying attention and this video has been educating enough for you. As always, some questions are going to pop up on your screen right now, and I'm confident you're going to answer them correctly. Till I see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.